first off, they get on the board first in the game against Boston yesterday. When Bergeron tied it up, though, that was a gross miss on the part of Subban. They were coming in 2-on-1 after Subban basically let the breakaway begin,
Yeah.
and then he turned his back on the play when Bergeron took the shot. He just kind of spun around and turned his bum to the play,
It was
and
a weird move he did. I
it
don't.
was very weird, but very typical BK Subban. You just don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like he did the worst thing you could do, which was not make a decision either way. Either you lay down and you try and block the shot, or you go right for the guy and you check him or whatever and take him off the puck. And he was too far over to take the passer. But he just kind of did this weird like crouch over thing that looked like he was maybe going for a hip check kind of, but then he changed his mind and just kind of like, I don't know, it was just weird. It was completely ineffective.
It was because I forget who was defending on the other side for New Jersey, but the man was covered, not very well, but he was covered. I mean, all Subban had to do was face Bergeron and basically neutralize him, but he didn't. He kept backing up, and then at the end of it, he turned around and said, "Okay, go ahead and take your shot," and he did.
It was definitely weird.
It was very strange. Now it was. I think that the most interesting and fun part about the whole game was that last second, like 1.7 seconds left. Igor Sharangovich, or how do you pronounce that?
Yeah, Igor Sharangovich.
Sharangovich, man, 1 seconds left. That backhand from Severson, was it? That got the puck on his stick with no time left, basically, and they won the game that way. Jack Edwards, you could just feel the air going out of Jack Edwards in that game. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And then the first period, we had a fight between Miller and Wood. Miller sloshed Wood. It was an embarrassment on Wood's part. And in Wood's defense, though, he got his jersey up over his head and he couldn't see. So, but still, it's a good fight.
It was a good fight. Wood got the last laugh, though. Of course, he scored the opening goal for New Jersey once he got out of the box. So all it did was, like, it was actually probably a smart move for Boston to try to, egg him into that fight, because I think having Wood off the ice, he's been a great performer already this season. Having him off the ice for 5 whole minutes, and you're only giving up Miller to do it, and it's Kevin Miller to do it. I think that's a win for Boston, and for that whole 5 minutes, New Jersey wasn't able to score. But not too long after he got out of the box, Wood was down there and scored a goal. So I wanted to know a bit more about why, and I had not seen game one between the two teams, so all I could do was read. I couldn't find actual highlights of either of the incidents where Wood interfered with Tuukka Rask, but I read about it. Apparently, one of those two calls, probably the second one, was bad enough that Boston wanted to get back at him for it. So I don't know, but like in both of the interference penalties that he had in that first game, Boston actually scored on both power plays, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. But if you still want to fight him, go ahead and fight him. I mean, the fight was a win.
Yeah,
but
more fights, the better, I think.
Yeah, but it was only 12 seconds into the game, so it's not really it's not a momentum changer, because at this point, there's no momentum.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we just had some technical difficulties on the camera side of things, so you audio listeners wouldn't have seen that, but my face was completely frozen for a long time. We're still uploading highlight videos on the YouTube channel, so I needed to fix the video portion. But anyways, we got that fixed, and we kind of segued accidentally into talking about the Boston-New Jersey game, which was ironically next on my list of things to talk about, so it was a totally fine segue. So let's continue that and review some of the Saturday night games. The San Jose Sharks and the Arizona Coyotes were the next game, I think, yesterday that happened after the Boston-New Jersey one. Did you watch any of that, or did you watch the highlights or anything?
I did not. I'm sad to say. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. There were some weird bounces in the game. Jones didn't play that great. It was an exciting game. I wasn't cheering for the Coyotes because I'm Sharks are my second favorite team, but it was a good game to watch as far as nice goals and some weird bounces and stuff. So. It was decent. The next game after that was the Islanders and Rangers game. And I guess we did talk a little bit about this already, but Varlamov got injured. Sorokin went in. He got lit up. Georgiev played amazing. Great pressure by the Rangers the entire game. Panarin was good. Kapil Kakko was really good. Just kind of a bit of an unfortunate event in the warm-ups for the Islanders, and they also just couldn't score on Georgiev.
Mm-hmm.
The Edmonton Montreal game. So this is I know you watched this game.
Oh yeah, I think I heard of it.
Montreal really did dominate the first a little bit of this game. Montreal was all over Edmonton. It was like they had a power play, but they didn't. Kind of thing.
Many stretches were like that, and you could tell. And for me, the most annoying way, and I do want to have a little rant later on about TV coverage and how bad it was, because it was bad. But one of the things that was bad about it was they kept eliminating the clock and replacing it with so and so's ice time, total ice time.
Oh yes,
and they did that a lot for Edmonton because they were hemmed in their own zone quite a bit. So they'd start saying, "Yeah, that defenseman, he's been on the ice now for 2 minutes," and they'd throw his ice time up there instead of the frigging score and the clock. So anyway, but that was an indicator of the trouble Edmonton was having in their own zone.
It's an interesting stat, but it does not have more importance than time left.
No, so, definitely not. Or even shots on goal.
Yes.
Like sometimes if I see a couple of shots that I would call shots on goal, I'm looking at the shot thingy, the little tiny shots on goal box, to see if it goes up. And a lot of times it doesn't. And I think that the shots on goal home ice person is not being as generous to the visiting team.
I agree with that. Yeah. Price was dialed in. He looked amazing last night. He was pissed when he let in that goal late and ruined his shutout. He was pissed.
He was very pissed. Very pissed.
I think that's a good sign for Montreal moving forward this season. A pissed off Carey Price for letting in one goal is a good Carey Price.
That's right. Like if you are upset with a 5-1 win because you think it should have been 5-0, then that's awesome because you're going to come next time and the time after that and the time after that until you are happy.
Exactly.
And hopefully his pissedness will remain with him all year.
His pissedness, yeah, that's great. Montreal also did a really good job clocking up the neutral zone. Edmonton had a really hard time entering the zone. And in their own zone, Edmonton just didn't do a great job defending. Lots of puck watching. Lots of just losing simple battles along the boards and stuff. So not a great game for Edmonton, but a really good game for Montreal. Hopefully I can say that a lot this season.
Yeah, hopefully so. And I didn't realize until after the game when I looked at the odds, Montreal was a 115 favorite to win that game. Excuse me. And that's probably correct. And if people had bet on that betting line, then they would have won a lesser amount of money because Montreal was the favorite. But I thought Edmonton would come out with more.
Me too. I actually picked Edmonton to win the game.
Yeah, I thought Montreal would really be struggling. And, it's the first, well, they made a mistake last night and said it's the first game of a 5-game road trip. And I thought to myself, well, didn't they play in Toronto the other day? Isn't that a road trip too?
Yeah.
Isn't that part of the same road trip? You idiots. But anyway, and then they play Edmonton again on Monday night, and then it's further west. So I thought, looking at down the barrel of a long time away from home and all that, I just thought it would be a little harder for Montreal to get up for the game, but not at all. Edmonton did have a good start. Probably the first 2 or 3 minutes, Edmonton looked like they came to play, and then something happened. They all fell apart.
Yeah.
I saw. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I just saw lots of things in the game. Some things I really liked, and some things that I was less impressed with when it came to Montreal. I'm a big fan of Josh Anderson. I think that's a tremendous pickup. He is a dominating force.
My favorite part about Josh Anderson is that he'll shoot the puck from anywhere, and that has been a huge problem for Montreal for the last decade. Is trying to be a little bit too fancy, not shooting when you have the first opportunity, and maybe trying to wait for a better one. He just shoots the puck. He'll be skating out of the zone, turn around, and shoot it into 5 bodies. And, most of the time it doesn't work, but the fact that he just does it and goes for it, and sometimes he doesn't make the pass when he should, he just shoots it. I want to see that because that's something that has really plagued Montreal. Shoot the damn puck. So
that's right.
That's my favorite part about him.
And when he's on the rush and he does shoot the puck, he doesn't stand there and admire it. He goes in after it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought the first Tatar goal, or I guess did he only get one last night? But that goal by Tatar, where Nurse goes over and tries to hit Gallagher. I mean, he went the entire width of the ice and basically missed Gallagher, but it took Nurse out of the game, really, or out of the play. and in goes Tatar, and that was the end of that. But it was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was
Uh,
awesome.
I wasn't as impressed with Tyler Toffoli, frankly. I think he was still a plus more than a minus in the game. So I don't think he was a liability necessarily. But there was one time when he was going in 3-on-1, and he had the puck with two other guys and only one defender. And I thought he whiffed on the shot. And I don't know if that was an equipment problem or just he got excited. I don't know what happened. And he's a veteran. So it's not something you'd expect to have happen very often. And it didn't happen again. But I'm not so sure that Toffoli really is settled yet. But I'm certainly willing to give him some time.
Yeah, we're 2 games in. I thought we'd see more of him so far, but
Yeah.
I'll take the big risks this year or Anderson and Toffoli. Not that they're really risks, but one of the two is performing as good or better than I was expecting. So I'll take one of two. Hopefully, the second one can join us pretty soon and be more competitive. But
Yeah, totally. I thought late in the second period, Drew had an offensive zone hooking penalty that I thought was terrible.
yeah, it was terrible.
Montreal fought off the penalty kill there in the Edmonton power play, but it was a horrible penalty. It's one of the reasons why I'd like to see him gone. Um, Man, Romanov, he's another guy that I'm so impressed with.
Heck yeah.
He just for our purposes, North American hockey, he just appears out of nowhere, and he is just fantastic. I'm extremely happy with him. He fits right in. He's even got the right number. He just rolls in there and skates around as if he owns the joint, and
Yeah, I know.
it's awesome.
I'm excited to see him get on the score sheet a little bit more. I really want him to score a goal.
Yeah, yeah. So overall, look, it was a great game. I was extremely impressed with how Montreal, although in the third they did kind of take their foot off the gas. They started trying to protect the lead a little bit. They weren't as dominant in the Edmonton zone in the third, and I think they paid the price for that in giving that one goal up, and it could have been more. So just further lesson to Montreal, and I'm sure they got it in the dressing room to keep your foot on the gas. It's 5-0. Don't let up. Make it 6-0 if you have to. Just
Exactly.
stay in the Edmonton zone. Don't be too easy on it. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was great.
Anything else to add for that game?
Not on the game itself. At some point, we're going to talk about just the overall broadcast itself and the coverage, I hope, and I have
Yes.
some comments on that.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Toronto-Ottawa game, seeing Joe Thornton scores his goal was pretty neat. It's still odd seeing him in that jersey. Like, fully admit, it's just weird for me, but he seems to be fitting in pretty good. Stützle scored his first NHL goal. I always thought his name was Stützle, but apparently it's Stützle.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It is Stützle.
Stützle? Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, but just back on that Joe goal, the whole play was made possible by Mitch Marner in an unbelievably intelligent move.
Yeah, it was.
Coming across the blue line, he put his stick down and stopped the puck with the shaft of his stick.
Yeah.
And then he backhanded it to Joe, and away it went. Just like the hockey IQ that kid has is just amazing, and he's a real treasure for Toronto.
It's not hard for him. He just
yeah,
it just happens for him.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
The Maple Leafs had 40 shots on net, and Ottawa only had 19. That is, to me, the typical Toronto that we know recently, the onslaught of offense. That's how they win games. They know they're not the best defensive team, and I still am frustrated seeing Maple Leafs fans trying to defend them defensively. They're in the bottom half of teams in the NHL as far as defensive teams, but in the offensive end, throwing up 40 shots, quality shots. That's how they win games. So Toronto played exactly like they should. Just pepper the net with shots from all angles. They got a lot of talent. So I'm glad we saw that from the Maple Leafs last night. But Ottawa made it interesting.
They sure did, and they made it interesting when they had to. Campbell was good for Toronto, which I don't think it's probably way too early to start goalie talk, but Campbell did well after Anderson did not do so well in the previous game.
He made some big saves last night.
Yeah, he did. Like you say, Ottawa had only 19 shots, but some of them were quality chances, and Toronto, like I totally agree. Toronto is just going to swarm you with offense on the presumption that, yeah, they're going to let in some goals. Their only mission is to score more than they let in, and they were able to do that. The thing with Stützle, and I think what really snuffled Ottawa's comeback after he scored his goal, which was awesome, but then he takes a late penalty with like 2.5 minutes to go, and that just basically ended the chance that Ottawa would have had for a comeback. But nevertheless, they still, like, once that penalty was over and they had 30 or 45 seconds left at 5-on-5, Ottawa swarmed the net pretty good, and they could have had a goal. There was a couple of like point blank chances and things, and it could have been a 3-3 game going into overtime.
Yeah, absolutely. It would have been a really exciting overtime as well, seeing him out there and a couple of the other players. So maybe we'll see it next time. These teams will play each other a lot. So,
did you notice the penalty on Cedric Paquette when he gloved the puck after the face-off?
I didn't see that.
There was basically, they were just having a regular face-off. It had been offside, so they were dropping the puck, and Paquette was knocked down, and he was just scrambling on the ice, and his glove hit the puck and knocked it back. It was on purpose, but then when they called a penalty on him, it's almost like he didn't know that was a penalty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just the look on his face. He's talking to the ref. He's like, "What was that?" It was hilarious.
That's awesome. I'll have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, it was really good. It was. I'm trying to remember where to find it, but you could obviously look at the box score and see what time. But it was funny afterwards. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next game, the Carolina-Detroit game. I don't think you watched this one. Is that correct?
That's correct. I did not.
Yeah, so, I mean, Detroit played pretty well against a really good team in Carolina, but Carolina was doing a lot of puck watching in their own end, and a lot of those goals, a couple of lucky bounces too by Detroit. Carolina had more chances, but Detroit honestly just played more of an opportunistic, I guess, style of game, and they got it done. They did more with less, basically. The Columbus and Nashville game, did you watch this one at all?
I did not. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't either, actually. I didn't watch any of this game. I just watched the highlights. So just quickly, from what I could see, Saros was fantastic. Exactly what I wanted to see from a Nashville goaltender. I'm so tired of them going back in between Prekarene and Saros. Just, for the love of God, just want to play well and be consistent. And Saros was amazing last night. So hopefully he's in net next time, and I hope he does just as good. The Anaheim-Vegas game, did you see any of this one?
No.
That's okay. This game basically just went exactly like I thought it would. Gibson keeping the Ducks in it the entire game and playing amazing, and ending up losing a close game, but they really shouldn't even been in the game because of Gibson. Gibson was amazing. Pacioretty with a nice OT goal on a 2-1-1. Not much chance for Gibson there, and it was 7 seconds into overtime.
Wow,
neat.
That's good. And I see just from the highlights that Mark Stone got assists on both those goals for Vegas.
Yeah. Captain leading by example, which is great.
There you go.
And then the last game, I believe, was the Calgary-Vancouver game.
I did watch that.
You did watch this one. So you saw how good Markstrom was.
I did.
He's so good. If they go deep this year, it's 100% because of Markstrom. So that was a fun game to watch last night. Both teams had over 30 shots. So it was pretty evenly matched that way. I just felt there was a bit more effort from Calgary. They look exactly like the Calgary team that I know they are, but I feel like every time I watch Calgary, that's not the Calgary that I see. So I'm really glad that I saw that Calgary last night.
Great. And even though Holtby led in 3 and they lost 3-0 and Markstrom got a shutout in that game, Holtby had 35 shots and he stopped 32 of them. That's a .914 save percentage. He has nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
With a record like that coming out of that game. He's obviously not happy with it, and nor should he be happy, but he shouldn't be too ashamed either. Like he's an elite goalie, and he will show that this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the goals, I don't know if it's the second one or third one, but he made the initial save, and I think it just popped down, and someone was able to get it in the net. I can't remember who it was, but he played well, and it sucks. You lose, you let in 3 goals, and your team doesn't score any, but man, he played well.
He did, and 2 of the 3 were on the power play. The first 2 goals were power play goals, so 5-on-5 he only let in 1. And the one he let in, the very last one, the goal by Matt Tkachuk, he went back, basically he was behind the play, and Vancouver didn't, I don't know if they didn't know he was there or didn't care. He was basically standing on the side of the net, and the puck came to him and he put it in. He was all by himself. It wasn't a goal that really Holtby should have had, because Tkachuk should never have been there. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that wraps up all the games from last night. So